Hi guys, how we doing today? It's Raceland 1986 at Twitch here. If you haven't caught one of my live streams, we're live every day for the next year straight. We're putting out YouTube content for every day for the next year straight too, so come check us out sometime. Anyways, today's video is going to be on Howa, Hand of Wisdom in Action. It's based off of the Ranger class, the Ascendancy of Raider. This is one of the most popular builds right now, 2.6 Legacy League. Right here is the start of this claw. This is a claw that drops from Esh. The unblessed version is called Hand of Thought and Motion. When you use a blessing of Esh, you upgrade to Hand of Wisdom in Action. Now this is going to give you elemental damage with weapons, percent increase with dexterity, intelligence. It adds 1 to 6 lightning damage per 10 intelligence, and 1% increase attack speed per 25 dex. So as you can imagine, we're going to be stacking intelligence on every single piece of gear with this build. T1 int on every piece of gear is a must. T2 will get by, but you want to be stacking T1. As you notice, I have a Calling Strike on my Howa. This is a pure bonus. It's not recommended. Not necessary, I guess. Not recommended, but it's definitely recommended if you have the currency. It's a huge bonus to killing bosses extremely fast. We're going to start out with the helm. You're gonna have to get a spectral throw helm. Speed, projectile speed on your helm from the endgame labyrinth. This is going to give you huge clear speed on your maps. As you can see, I mean, we have a 6 T1 stat helm here with T1 int, 3 TSs, and double resist. Your helm obviously doesn't have to be this good, but you want to prioritize intelligence, resist, and then ES in that order. 3 to 400 ES helm is going to be completely fine. I like to switch over to my Spectral Throw increased damage helm for bosses. This is my swap in right here. As you can tell, it only has 229 ES, but we're looking strictly for damage here and int just to scale that 1 to 6 lightning damage off the claw. That's why we're stacking the int. Moving on, we're going to use 2 Hand of Wisdom in actions, obviously, so we stack more int, get more damage from it, the scaling. You want to look for, now Astra Menace is best in slot for the amulet in most cases. I, however, do not use one. You want to get intelligence as high as you can on your amulet. Weapon elemental damage, you want to pick up some resist here, plus ES, lightning percent, ES percent are all good items to roll on your jewelry. As you can see, we do have an opal here, weapon elemental damage, intelligence, lightning damage, plus ES, a resist, and then our ES percent. Pretty much the same thing with the other ring. We're just picking up resist, the lightning damage percent, weapon elemental damage, intelligence, and resist. The chest is, it's pretty much the same thing across the board. You're picking up int, your resist, and as high ES as you can afford. That's pretty much all you got to do with this build. Same thing with the gloves. You can get a little attack speed here if you wanted. It's definitely not required. I just go for resist, int, and more ES. Same thing with the boots. It's nice to have a damage leech as a life and mana if you killed recently. It always helps. We're just stacking int, resist, and more ES here too. Definitely don't need the move speed, but I have a crafted move speed on there right now. When you're using whirling blades, the move speed isn't really going to help you that much because most of the time you're moving, you're using whirling blades anyway. So, I use my crystal belt on bosses sometimes. This is my swap in. It has strength on it just because I get most of my strength from my headhunter, and to hit the 111 strength and the 117 strength required for my gems, I got to pick it up from somewhere. I don't want to get it from my skill tree, so I pick it up from my belt. If you're using a crystal belt, any belt with high plus ES, weapon elemental damage, resist, and intelligence is going to be just fine. So you're looking for that. In my helm, I run Valid Discipline with an increased duration and a Vol Haste. You pretty much want a 21-20, all the gems in your 6-link, just to further boost your damage. I do run Fortify, faster attacks, and Whirling Blades in my 1 claw. I do use Summon Lightning Golem, faster casting, and Flame Dash in my off claw. Immortal Call in my gloves, which is level 10, increased duration 20-20, cast 1 damage taken, a level 8, and then conductivity 11, level 11, 20 quality. The boosts are going to be a 21-20 discipline, a 21-20 wrath. You honestly, you don't need 21-20 on either of these, but if you can find one that's just as cheap, it wouldn't hurt, but it is definitely not required. I do run Purity of Elements, and I do run a level 4 Enlighten. That's pretty much the item, but order of importance, you're stacking Int, ES, and then Resist. Resist are going to take priority over ES if you're not capped, so make sure you cap your resist. Perpetual Silver Flask of Warding. I use this for the onslaught for, increased attack speed and movement. This is just a, a curse remove flask. I do use a Chemist's Granite Flask of Staunching. This gives you more armor, removes bleeding on use, and then has reduced charges used. We do use a Vessel of Inktar. This is crucial to the build. It shocks enemies and it shocks yourself during Flask effect. It also penetrates 10% of lightning resistance and then increases your leech during the Flask effect with lightning damage. So it's huge for this build. It's 100% recommended. They're only about 50 chaos, so you got to get yourself one. It's Zeri's Promise, and I do use the Dying Sun. There are a few different flasks you can use. One of which that I can think of off the top of my head is you could always run the Wise Oak. Basically, you take 10% reduced damage for whatever element is the lowest. So if your fire resist is the lowest, you'll take 10% reduced damage from that element. With the Wise Oak, you're going to want to make sure your lightning resist is the highest, because that will help penetrate 20% more lightning penetration. So that's always a good flask to use. I've pretty much swapped around a lot of flasks and tried them out. Sorrow of the Divine, the Wise Oak. I've ran a Quicksilver there. I do like Dying Sun a lot, just for the simple fact that it gives you additional projectiles, and it does help a lot, especially when you're using because when I'm fighting bosses like Shaper or Uber at Zeri, I like to switch over to Slower Proj, even for Guardians too. It's way more single target DPS, and then just having those 2 extra projectiles during that seems to help a lot. So I am digging the Dying Sun a lot with this build. But standing in town with GMP, I have 29k DPS tooltip. If I have my buffs running here, we do jack up a little bit to 33k. With Slower Proj in, we jump up to 56k. Tooltip's kind of, it looks low, but it's definitely not low. I can kill Shaper in under 2 minutes. Uber at Zeri pretty much pushes phase to phase without even getting to do much. It's extremely high damage. It burns everything really fast. Mapping is a breeze. You can just bosses don't even feel like bosses. Rares don't feel like rares. They just fall over. Especially with Headhunter. If you're running Double Beyond, Nemesis, and like Breach, in a map you're going to have 20 buffs at any given time. You're just going to breeze through maps like it's nothing. This build is basically on a budget. You can kill Shaper with about 2 exalts. I mean, my gear costs multiple hundreds of exalts right now. But this build is pretty much as you want to spend in it. It really has no cap to what it can do. It's great movement. It's great clear speed. It's uber viable. It's shaper viable. It can do all content extremely efficiently. For this build, basically, the tree is going to be, you're going to start in Ranger. You're going to grab the Proj here. You're going to grab Ballistic and come over to Volpack. You're going to put one of your Fertile Minds here. I grabbed a Strength node just because I needed it here. You might not need it, however, just depending. I always grab all the Ent nodes, Forces of Nature. I put another Fertile Mind here. I pick up the +1 Frenzy Charge. We grab Primeval Force. We pick up the other Intelligence. We grab Point Blank. We come up into Art of the Gladiator. Grab the other Frenzy Charge. I like to grab Vitality Void and one of the hybrids just for that leech. Brute Force Solution goes here. We go the whole way up to Unwavering Stance, grab this. We do grab this Intelligence Node 2. Pretty much when you're leveling, you head down this way, you pick up the life nodes, get yourself some life here. Just setting yourself up to take Unwavering Stance. Once you get down through there and you got some life, you can grab these life nodes if you need to. Volpack later in the game. I come up to Coordination. I go to Fangs of the Viper. I grab this Frenzy Charge 2, grab Sniper, head up through Cold-Hearted Calculation. I grab these 2 Ints too. You can go through here, set yourself up for CI. This gives you more life while you're leveling. You can just level with Hand of Thought and Motion, the unblessed version of Howa. Get yourself right here set up for CI, and get yourself down here set up for Ghost Reaver. So when you do get to be about a level 70, you can grab this, go up into here, grab your extra ES shield here. You're going to want to grab these early on. As soon as you go CI, you're going to want to head over here, skipping these and skipping this until you have Ellie Overload, and then you're going to want to grab all your ES at this point. I didn't grab Ballistic Mastery or Point Blank till later. I want to say it was about level 90 something. So those are kind of, I think, later that you want to grab these. You want to grab Volpact, Ghost Reaver, and CI all at the same time. As soon as you switch to CI, these two are extremely, extremely important. You must take these in synergy with that. So the Fertile Minds are 100% required, and so is the Brute Force solution. These transfer all the radius to Strength, gets transformed to Intelligence because we are stacking in with Howa. Fertile Mind does the same thing, but instead of it being Strength, it transforms all the Dex nodes to Int. We have another one here, so all the Dex nodes it transfers to Int, so it's extremely useful. The Arcing Blows is just going to give you more weapon pen with your lightning damage and increase weapon damage. So you're going to pick that up as soon as possible. I want to say about level 80 you should have these. I think I got Elemental Overload around level 86. I think Unwavering Stance was about 87 or 88. And then we did get some ES after that. And then we grabbed Point Blank, I want to say early 90s. So that's kind of what your tree looks like. As far as the Ascendancy goes, you're going to want to head down and grab Evasion and Frenzy Charge Duration here into Way of the Poacher, up into Avatar of the Slaughter next, and then Evasion Movement Speed into Quartz Infusion, into Evasion Movement Speed, and then finally you're going to grab Avatar of the Veil. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments section below. Like always, we're going to have YouTube content updated daily. Don't forget to subscribe if you like the content. More will be to come. We're live every day for the next year straight on Twitch. We're at day number 24, 365, so come check us out. Twitch.tv/Raceland1986. Like always, guys, have a great day, and we'll see you soon. Have a good one. Bye-bye.